Hi, I'm Evelyn. On tonight's Chem&H, Kids Making the News Happen, we'll be welcoming back a former anchor and hear how she has changed since we last saw her. Plus, Jasper will also lead us on a gallery tour of ceramic works displayed at the beginning of spring at the Happen Studio. And we're getting ready for the Great American Cleanup happening this Saturday right here in Northside. All this and more, so stop, watch, and share. Chem&H, Kids Making the News Happen.
Welcome to KMNH, Kids Making the News Happen.
About a month before I left KMNH in 2020, I had realized that I was trans, and it was part of why I made the decision to leave KMNH. But now 2 years have passed, and I've learned a lot of stuff about myself and come into my identity. In that time, I've gone through many different names before finally landing on Echo, and I expect it to stick. And the concept of coming out feels almost foreign to me now, having been publicly out for almost 2 years. And through it all, I've had plenty of support from my friends, my family, and some fantastic organizations like Transform, and of course, Happen Inc. I'm incredibly happy to be able to come back to KMNH, feeling comfortable in myself and surrounded by people who are supporting me. And I can't wait to do more news stories with this KMNH team.
This last spring, Jasper interviewed two amazing artists who took him on a tour of their work.
Happen recently hosted a ceramic exhibition for NCECA, the National Council on the Education for Ceramic Arts, which was having its national conference at the time. The exhibition had work from two local artists, Sarah Torreston and John Stan, and I had a chance to interview both of them. Both artists started ceramics at a young age and were influenced by school programs.
I was really fortunate to go to a high school that had a great ceramics program with some pottery wheels, and there was an alumni named Todd Fazell. He's still here locally in Cincinnati, and we're friends. And he came and did a demo when I was 15, and I saw him make a picture on the wheel in about a minute and a half, and it blew my mind. And I knew right then and there that I wanted to learn how to make pots, and I'm really grateful that I got to hang out with Todd that day.
Yeah, and I was also really fortunate. I grew up in San Diego, but they have an SCPA, School of Creative and Performing Arts there, and they had a great art program, and I got kind of into clay that way, and then I went to college, and they had a really great ceramics program, and I actually went to college to be a zoologist and study science, but the clay program kind of stole me away from that, and I kind of never looked back.
John talked about how his candelabras were made to have a sense of community as a gathering place.
So I think a lot about gathering in communal settings, especially after the COVID shutdown, and gathering being kind of a scary thing. So like I have a punch bowl piece that's like a little intimidating to even stand around. You feel like you might break it. And then I have all these candelabras that kind of draw people in. So I think a lot about rituals, kind of how maybe we've lost that a little bit. People used to gather in a very different way than we do now in contemporary society. And most of the work I have deals with some sense of ritual.
Sarah's work for the exhibition expanded outside of ceramics with the inclusion of woven elements.
I do a lot of different processes. I sometimes work on the wheel, like some of the arms and things that I have here are wheel thrown and then they're altered into other shapes. But I coil build and I build with slabs. And then we both kind of wood fire is our connecting thread. We tend to fire everything in a glaze firing that's fueled by wood versus other kinds of fuel. And it renders these kind of interesting drippy surfaces that we both really like.
If you're interested in ceramics, John and Sarah gave me some tips on how to get started.
Building skill is really important. Don't worry about making like your great statement of your comment on society. You know, you got your whole life to think about that stuff, and I think right now in a lot of art schools, people are making conceptual work right away, and that's great. But if you start putting away all the tools in your toolbox, when you do have things to say, you're going to know how to do it.
Everything counts. You know, all the little projects that don't go well, and all the moments where you're frustrated, and all of the little things that accumulate over like many years of practicing. It's just one big long process.
During the exhibition, the Happen space was packed with people, and it was great to see everyone supporting these local artists.
I just want to say thanks for coming out and spending some time with us at the show, and thanks to Happen for giving us the opportunity to exhibit here.
Yeah, thank you.
This week, I had the chance to interview cleanup volunteer coordinator Cindy Shirting about the Great American Cleanup on April 29th in Northside. Starting from a passion to get involved and keep Northside beautiful, her commitment to the cleanup has led her to be a part of the organizing for the project as well. There are 13 projects this year that people can volunteer to help clean up.
Picking up litter, working in the business district, cleaning some of the light poles and garbage cans, picking up litter. There can be some planting.
And it's not just adults. This is a fun activity for the whole family.
We will take families with children, just neighbors wanting to get involved. We sometimes have UC students or a corporation like P&G that wants to send volunteers, but anyone in the neighborhood can participate. There's always a job for people. And we even have child-sized tools like grabbers and reflector vests so that the kids are safe if they're out on the street. But we welcome families, of course.
Well, it's a lot of work cleaning up Northside. It's just as much to plan the cleanup.
I've been in Northside about 27 years, and I've been participating in the cleanups most years. Keeps Inside Beautiful does them in all the neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods can pick a date, whatever date they want. So we typically do it in the spring because things are starting to grow. We don't want it to be too cold.
It's also about working together as a community.
Seeing how many neighbors and community members get involved and then many times come back to do it again. And also people that just show up that day and don't even know what they're going to do yet, but they want to help. So I think just how every year it seems to keep going and going.
So don't miss the Great American Cleanup, April 29th. Meet at 4100 Coleraine, right across from Dojo. 8:30 is donuts and registration, 9 to 12 is the cleanup, and after 12 we'll meet back up and have pizza. Happens Teen Hall will be there, and of course KMNH. So we hope to see you there as well.
Thanks for watching this broadcast of Happens KMNH, Kids Making the News Happen. Make sure to share this broadcast with your friends and family, and we will see you soon on Happens social media.